Stay with us, because what happens next will shape the WNBA's future on and off the court. Did you watch Caitlin Clark's rookie season from start to finish? Do you think the league's physicality and officiating crossed the line, or is this just what elite professional basketball looks like? Tell us where you're watching from, leave your take in the comments, and share this report with a hoops fan who cares about player safety, officiating standards, and the business of women's sports. In the final weeks of her first WNBA season, Caitlin Clark did something unusual for a rookie star. She challenged the league out loud. "I feel like I'm getting hammered and everybody is physical with me, and opponents get away with things that other people don't get away with," she told reporters, making public what had been simmering for months: concerns about consistent officiating and the cumulative toll of contact away from the ball. It wasn't a one-off complaint. It was the culmination of a season in which a single player brought unprecedented attention, record crowds, and new revenue to the Indiana Fever and the league, while taking as much physical punishment as any guard in the WNBA. Clark's year was, by any metric, transformative. Indiana, which entered 2024 on the back of a decade without a playoff series win, became a traveling attraction. Sellouts followed the Fever across the country. Secondary ticket markets spiked. Merchandise sales surged. By late summer, her jersey had become the WNBA's top seller, eclipsing veteran legends and anchoring a broader boom in team shops and league e-commerce. Broadcast partners saw ratings lifts for regular season windows featuring the Fever. In several instances, those audiences rivaled or surpassed prior WNBA benchmarks. In short, the Caitlin Clark effect was not a marketing slogan, it showed up in the numbers. But the spotlight came with a cost. Across social platforms and televised studio debates, the discourse around Clark turned volatile. Clips of hard fouls and off-ball collisions went viral. A handful of scrums escalated the narrative from physical playoff-style defense to unprotected star. A now infamous face contact captured on broadcast became a flashpoint, with opponents insisting it was incidental and others calling it a blatant missed call. Meanwhile, technicals for reactions, gestures, words, frustration, fed a second conversation. Were officials adjudicating contact and conduct with the consistency a modern professional league requires? The WNBPA had already been pushing for officiating enhancements, more rigorous feedback loops with teams, and deeper investment in training. Coaches echoed the theme that consistency matters more than whistle volume. Players said they wanted to know what would and would not be called from night to night. Clark's quote pulled all of it into the open. "When a rookie is the driver of your ratings, the face of your merch, and the reason buildings are full, and that rookie is asking for clarity, the league has to respond." The season ended on a night that condensed the year's contradictions. Indiana's first-round elimination at the hands of the Connecticut Sun, 87-81, showcased both the promise and the limitation of a team riding a singular talent. Clark played 40 minutes and posted 29 points, 10 assists, and 7 rebounds, numbers that typically signal victory, not exit. Her shot-making stretched the floor. Her passing created looks. Her work rate was noticeable on every possession. But the mistakes that had haunted Indiana all season reappeared at the worst times. Empty trips, late clock violations, and defensive lapses against a veteran opponent. As the final horn sounded, Clark's body language, shoulders slumped, eyes fixed on the scoreboard, said what words did not. She had given everything. It wasn't enough. Within days, the conversation shifted from one season to the next. Reports and speculation suggested Clark could consider an overseas stint, a route many WNBA players have taken for years to supplement income and expand their games, most commonly in EuroLeague Women or other top European competitions. Some outlets framed it as a permanent departure. Others presented it as a typical off-season decision. As of this publication, neither the player, the Fever, nor the league has issued an official announcement about a full-year move abroad. What is clear is that the broader environment, physical play, officiating scrutiny, and the relentless noise around her, has forced uncomfortable questions into the foreground. What does a sustainable WNBA look like for its most visible stars? And what, exactly, should change? To understand the stakes, look past the highlights to the balance sheet. Before Clark, the Fever's 2023 average home attendance hovered around 3,000. With Clark, the 2024 average soared into 5 figures, with multiple sold-out dates and several arenas reporting their highest WNBA gate in years when Indiana arrived. Team and league sources credited Clark-related demand with lifting single-game pricing, premium seating, and season ticket bases. Secondary effects followed: higher per capita spend on concessions and merch, corporate partners seeking inventory in Clark-heavy windows, and broadcasters scheduling more fever appearances across national platforms. One rookie didn't save the league, but she concentrated its momentum in a way that was impossible to ignore. Television told the same story. Fever Games delivered some of the WNBA's biggest regular season audiences since the league's early 2000s peak, including marquee windows on ESPN that drew more than 1 million viewers. In head-to-head comparisons with other matchups, the Fever consistently outperformed. That's how star power works. It isn't a moral judgment. It's an economic fact that informs everything from ad rates to rights negotiations. Against that backdrop, the narrative that sprung up around Clark, charges and countercharges, that her popularity was a matter of race, that her fans were uniquely toxic, that officiating was either targeting her or protecting her, became a distraction from a simpler, more useful set of questions. How do you standardize officiating in a league where physicality is part of the product? How do you communicate with players about point of emphasis so they can adjust? And how do you protect every athlete, rookie or veteran, from illegal contact while not draining the competitive edge that makes playoff basketball compelling? Players across the league publicly denounced racist abuse and asked fans to police their own spaces. Others warned against reducing a diverse, complex league to a single storyline about one star. The smartest voices acknowledged reality. Clark drives outsized attention. That creates outsized emotion. It also creates outsized risk when the conversation gets personal. The job of a professional league is to lower those temperatures, not inflame them. In the short term, the fixes are operational. The WNBA can accelerate officiating clinics, expand video training modules, and make public its points of emphasis so teams and fans understand what is being called and why. The league can continue working with its officials on illegal contact off the ball, the kinds of actions that don't show up in box scores but change the game's tone. The disciplinary office can be transparent about fines and suspensions when lines are crossed. And teams can take more responsibility for man-to-man conversations when players feel targeted, instead of letting the anger fester online. The union will have its say as well. The WNBPA has pressed for better travel, more rest, and a schedule that reduces back-to-backs that exacerbate injuries. Those aren't niceties. They affect the quality of play, the health of stars, and the league's ability to deliver its best product when casual fans tune in. With the WNBA entering an era of stronger media rights positioning, those demands will only grow louder. If the league wants to convert 2024's spike in interest into a durable base, it will need to be seen delivering on its end of the bargain. Professionalism at every touchpoint, from officiating to logistics to communication. The business stakes explain the intensity around Clark's possible overseas plans. If she spends a chunk of the year in Europe, as many WNBA players do in the offseason, the Fever's attendance and the league's national windows will feel it. If she were to skip a WNBA season entirely, the impact would be more pronounced. But perspective matters. The WNBA's growth is now tied to a cohort of marketable stars, not just one. Aya Wilson, Breanna Stewart, Sabrina Ionescu, Alyssa Thomas and others have built their own followings. Teams like New York, Las Vegas, Seattle, and Phoenix sell themselves. Clark accelerates the curve. She doesn't singularly define it. Still, her rookie season reintroduced the league to millions of new consumers. That's the prism through which every decision will be judged. If officiating looks chaotic, newcomers conflate it with low quality. If players don't seem protected, casual viewers will say the league isn't serious. If stars appear unsupported or unheard, sponsors will hesitate. That is why Clark's comment about getting hammered cut through the noise. It wasn't a complaint in isolation, it was a referendum on standards. Coaches who faced Indiana were candid about strategy. They sent length at Clark, bumped her off routes, trapped high, and tested her stamina over 40 minutes. That's what smart defenses do against an elite shooter with unlimited range. But the line between smart and excessive is, by definition, drawn by officials. The postseason optics, contact to the face with no whistle, shoulders riding through screens without a call, bench reactions punished more swiftly than on-court fouls, fueled the perception that calibration was off. The fix isn't to grant star calls. It's to ensure the rules are applied equally, so the most skilled players can show what they do best without hacking wars replacing basketball. The playoff exit to Connecticut highlighted another reality of professional sports. A young team needs time. The Fever's roster is talented but inexperienced together. Late-game composure comes with reps in pressure moments. The turnovers and clock violations that cost Indiana possessions are symptoms of youth, not fatal flaws. The encouraging piece for the Fever is that, even with those mistakes, they were within 2 possessions of extending the series. That's the foundation a franchise can build on, if the league environment supports the development of its stars. What about the claims that Clark is leaving for good? Treat them for what they are until confirmed: speculation. Overseas play has long been part of the women's basketball economy. Veterans have made careers of it. Younger players go to expand their skill sets and earnings. If Clark opts to add a European chapter, it will be analyzed endlessly. If she stays stateside and leans into rest and brand building between WNBA seasons, that will be news too. What isn't helpful is presenting conjecture as fact. The only timeline that matters is the one the player and the team announce. Financially, the Fever and the league have to plan for multiple scenarios. That's what professional organizations do. If Clark is on the floor next summer, the demand curve looks similar to 2024's, with growth at the margins as the novelty becomes routine. If she is overseas for part of the year, Indiana will lean on local marketing, dynamic pricing, and the overall lift in women's basketball interest to keep Gates strong. At the national level, broadcasters will build around rivalries, showcase windows for top teams, and keep the focus on the product, not the noise around it. The healthiest leagues are resilient to any single variable. This is a test. The other piece of this conversation is tone. Players have asked, clearly and repeatedly, for fans to dial back the personal attacks. Constructive criticism of play is part of sports. Racial slurs, misogyny, and harassment are not. Several teams issued statements this summer condemning abuse and reiterating their commitment to inclusive environments. That's not just virtue signaling, it's brand protection. Sponsors don't want their logos in highlight clips that double as culture war proxies. If women's basketball is going to sustain the momentum of 2024, the people around it, media, fans, influencers, will have to choose the game over the clicks. One final note about perspective. It's easy to reduce the WNBA to a single name. That does a disservice to the product. Las Vegas and New York still feel like super teams. Seattle's rebuild is ahead of schedule. Minnesota is Minnesota. Physical, disciplined, relentless. Phoenix remains a draw. Chicago turned over the roster and found an identity. The Fever, whatever happens next, have a franchise cornerstone and a fan base that found its voice. That's the league you want to sell, whether your favorite player is shooting from the logo or throwing a laser to the corner. Your turn. Should the WNBA alter how it officiates off-ball contact to better protect shooters and ball handlers? Would you support Clark spending part of the year overseas if it benefits her development and long-term health? And what's the single most important change, officiating, travel, schedule, you want the league to make before next season? Drop your thoughts below. If this analysis helped cut through the noise, share it with a friend, and subscribe for continuing coverage of WNBA officiating standards, Indiana Fever attendance trends, women's basketball TV ratings, and the global pathways that shape elite players' careers.